visionary, revolutionary. I'm a visionary, revolutionary.
He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 Like Brody, taken from us too soon. What's going on, guys? It's KB, the Mark. I'm here with my two co-hosts, Camellia Salamander, Miss Quinn, and we're here to honor Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, the Fiend, the Eater of Worlds, whatever you want to refer to him as. We're here to honor him. Camellia Salamander, how you doing?
Doing great.
Miss Quinn?
Mac Marvelous, as always.
We stand here on the precipice of one of the greatest shows to ever be put on in front of 80,000 to remember Wyndham Rotunda. Bray Wyatt, man, still doesn't feel real. Still does not feel real. Miss Quinn, we're gonna start with you. News hit. Wyndham Rotunda passed away. What were your initial thoughts?
I cried, man. One of the best in the business. From promos to characters to his even backstage. He was a great human.
Camellia Salamander. News broke of Bray. If I remember correctly, I called you.
Yeah. You called me with the news. I didn't even know. I thought you was lying. And then as soon as you called me, I got the notification on Twitter, or excuse me, X. And, I mean, I hate doing these episodes. Last time we did one was about 3 years ago with Brody Lee. But I mean, Bray Wyatt is a beautiful talent, you know, that's gone. I mean, arguably in this era, character-wise, the best character that we had in professional wrestling, no matter what company. Just creative freedom. Just watching some of his interviews and stuff, I'm just seeing, like, you know, Bray Wyatt is a guy you can't write for. He's a guy, he has to write himself. He said it, you know, like promos, every promo. I watched an interview where I heard him say that, you know, he go out there and you know, can't nobody write for him. Everything he say, he
part of that time frame, and they all went on to do different things, some in different companies. But when it comes to the two, Brody and Bray, you can tell they were taken too soon at the top of their games. Mm-hmm. So it's sad. You know, I feel for JoJo, feel for the kids. You know, and a lot of people hasn't really been referencing this, but Braun and Eric, two friends, two brothers in 3 years. That hits different. And even on Friday Night SmackDown, you could see the hurt. If you couldn't see the hurt with everybody else, you saw the hurt in those two.
That's exactly when I started crying too. And I was cool, like the best 8 minutes ever.
Don't be taking my don't take my stuff.
You said it, but it was the best. It was the best opener and the best closer that you could possibly have for a show that's dedicated. Now, I was cool the whole beginning part until they panned over and I saw Braun and Eric holding each other. Then that's why I lost my shit. I'm not even gonna lie.
Miss Quinn, what did you think of the first 10 minutes of SmackDown?
Loved it. That was one of the best dedications since, I'd have to say, in WWE, since Eddie Guerrero's dedication.
You know, I wanted to, me and you was talking off the record, KB. I wanted to take back some things I said when we was talking about the Terry Funk hardcore match. Now I realized something. WWE being a PG company, and then on top of that, them having sponsors, and then on top of that, them being on Fox, plays a huge part of why they couldn't get as hardcore as they can. Plus, think about it, it is 2023. It's a different time of era. Some things that, they could have got away on TV 20 years ago, they can't get away with now. Some things like, like we seen the Blood and Guts match, that would never fly over there. We will never see nothing like that on free TV in WWE. Ever, 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 ever. Too bloody, too violent. Now, cause I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? Cause I was seeing some people points and stuff on Twitter or X, and I'm like, you know what? They do made a point. Because I'm like, that was kind of trash. But then I had to think about it. Like, it is a whole different company. The sponsorships, they got do's and don'ts from, what they can do from the network and everything. Plus the sponsorships. If they did go out there and had a throwback ECW hardcore tag team match, they probably, how many sponsorships they'll probably lose.
No, I agree with you. Only problem I had is, if you couldn't do that, just use the environment more. Just use the environment.
Yes.
But
they could have used the steps, could have used the announcer's table, barricade, the ring post. It could have been. Yeah, I agree. Environment more to make it feel more hardcore. If you wasn't gonna use the environment more, fight outside of the ring more. I would say.
You could have easily just went Falls Count Anywhere and got the same amount of carnage without using carnage.
But that Bobby Lashley spear,
yeah.
Woo.
How fly you gotta be to spear somebody in the suit and don't rip.
Yes. But going back to what we're here for, we're here to talk about Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt. And I want to ask you guys, what are some, and we'll start with you, Miss Quinn, what are some top moments that you remember from the career of Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt?
How about when him and Roman Reigns won the tag team championships?
I forgot about that. Honestly.
Yeah.
I honestly did.
Remember, that's when Bray
was that the same match where he was, I forgot who he was pinning, but he had pointed and then that's when Roman hit that spear at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that match, and that's when, he kind of lured him from the Shield over to the Wyatt family.
I was gonna say, it's so many different stages of Bray.
Yeah, because
that you could pick from.
You got the Eater of Worlds, you got the Fiend. When you think back at all the characters, he's had a lot of big moments and matches between all his characters. The Fiend, you think about John Cena and Randy Orton, and I liked his very last match against LA Knight. That was the last time we actually seen him on a premium live event, and then he took that time off, and then now all of it now.
We ain't seen him since.
Right.
It's a lot of things, right? So, one, Bray Wyatt and John Cena, they feud like, I think all of his gimmicks they had a feud with. Because you remember at one point, wasn't he a member of the Wyatt family for like a short period of time?
Yep.
John Cena. Daniel Bryan was a part of him too, I believe.
Yep.
And Randy Orton. So,
Then think about this too, real quick. Undertaker passed the torch to Bray Wyatt.
He did.
And
I'm mad at WWE they didn't capitalize on that.
They should have a long time ago.
Honestly, I think he should have beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. There'd been a real passing on the torch moment. Like, it should have happened at Mania instead of Raw 30. Mm-hmm. That's what I believe.
So, I love every Bray character.
What's your favorite version?
I would say my favorite version, without a shadow of a doubt, is the Fiend.
Yes.
So,
me too.
Remember when he killed Finn Balor?
Broke his neck.
He broke his neck. Yeah, he snapped his neck.
And Camille, me and you was talking off the record, and you never really want to talk ill. Never really want to talk ill of the dead. But you know, you go back and Bray is, when we look back at his career, Bray's gonna be.
It's not that bad.
It's not, but
all
he's
that
gonna,
bitching we was doing. It's not that bad now that you look. Maybe it's because he's no longer here.
No,
and that's why he's like, it's not that bad.
No, and that's what I'm saying. But if you think about it, Bray's gonna go down in both sides of WWE history, good and bad. Characters, great. Missed opportunities. And of course, he will always go down for that horrendous 2017 or 2018 Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins.
So let me ask you a question. That Hell in a Cell, because like looking back, I guess I honestly don't think that Hell in a Cell match is that bad. Salamander, what? Yes, I don't think it's that bad. He took 18 curve stops and stuff, and it was no DQ finish in the Hell in a Cell. I understand how can that happen, but I still think the fucking projector. What was it? WrestleMania with Randy Orton. I think that was worse than the Hell in a Cell.
See, I don't really mind that. But if you notice, you can always go back to remember when the Fiend was brought back to life and he fought Randy. He lost.
Wasn't that Mania too?
Yep, that was at Mania too.
When Alexa Bliss started bleeding.
Well, she was oozing black goo, but yes. Yeah. So, you know, it's always a good and a bad when it comes to Mr. Rotunda. But, you know, you'll always remember fondly the good ones. Like, even though they had that bad Hell in a Cell match, the lead up to the Hell in a Cell match where he was constantly attacking Seth Rollins. And it's just, the Fiend's entrance was so unique with the and the lights going out. You hear the and the strobe lights, flashing lights. Where is he? Cuts to the camera. He's already attacking his opponent. Mandible claw, choking him out. And he cuts away. You know, the camera cuts away. Lights go out. And he's at the stage. He will always have very good moments. I think a moment that we all missed on is his team with Matt Hardy. The leader of Worlds. Raw Tag Team Champions. Did nothing with him. And I thought that was... I actually thought that was one of Bray's better teams. You could have really went somewhere with the Deleter of Worlds if you were going to book them the way that they should have been booked.
And see, and
they never would, because they didn't want that original gimmick wasn't there, so they wasn't gonna push Matt Hardy to the T of what they should have did with the team.
Right, and then that's where you get all the missed opportunities from, because they didn't push a lot of these gimmicks.
A lot of missed opportunities happen because Vince want to be stubborn.
Yep. And
want to be the sole creator of the. He want to be the sole reasons why we know these people's names.
True.
And that's why so much missed opportunity comes.
So I read an article just last night, and I just want to ask you guys, and I think Salamander, I asked you this yesterday. How do y'all feel about Roman Reigns not being at SmackDown Friday night?
Well, I heard he was there to retire the Blue Universal title. And I think if I read it correctly, I think he gave it to his kids, which I think
after the show.
Yeah, after the show, which I thought was a great move. I think because of the storyline that's playing out, and technically Roman's not supposed to be there, I think it's fine.
Yeah, see?
I think it's fine.
Well, my whole thing is the WWE Universe is a little upset because he didn't make his presence out there on the stage during the 10-bell salute, in which I see why, because one of Bray's biggest rivals was Roman Reigns.
That's true.
And if he could have just shown his face out there to pay his respects, then... If
you think about Jimmy, none of the Usos was there. None of the Bloodline was there.
Jimmy Uso was there, and Solo Sikoa was there.
I did not see them on the stage.
Yeah, they were there.
But I'm like, honestly, I don't really think that much about it, because I'm like, I hate to put it this way, but the show must still go on. We seen what they did, and it was a lot of speculations. We heard that they canceled the whole show. Everything was on the wraps until further notice. But then we seen that they kind of, in a way, still continued the show. They dedicated it, but still continue pushing certain stories. So I was like, I get it that way, but the Roman thing, I honestly don't really think that much of it. And I'm a huge WWE mark. We all know that. But let's be honest. Some of the WWE Universe people, they be bitching too y'all damn much.
Mm-hmm.
Same motherfuckers that say, "Oh, we want tag team matches that's good. You know, that's thoroughly that's pushed out." We get them AEW tag team matches at WWE. It's quiet as hell. Don't nobody cheer. Then we go back to the bullshit tag matches that we got. Now we bitching and shit again. Same thing. We want Chad Gable to get a push. We want thorough matches. They get them thorough wrestle matches, technical matches. Quiet as hell. But you get on the other side, oh my God, that's a 5-star classic. I'm like, it's just us. I mean, us as WWE fans, they don't know how to pick. They don't know how to correctly pick and choose. Shit, like they complain about the shit that don't need to be complained about, and then the shit that need to be complained about, they silent. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I call them WWE Karen sometimes.
I don't think we've had a WrestleRamble like this, not even since Brody Lee passed, but when Jay Briscoe died.
Yeah, we sure didn't do one. We sure did. We touched on them in the news and touched on it in the podcast, but to actually dedicate a full WrestleRamble, we didn't. Which, yeah, damn,
No,
I feel so bad.
And
for
that's another thing when you can compare the two. I mean, they're two different companies, but if you think about the creativeness of both characters,
yeah,
Jay Briscoe, Bray Wyatt, both passed around the same age. One due to a car accident, one due to a heart attack. And now it's like, where do we go from here? Because
this whole year been fucked.
does Uncle Howdy stay?
That's the question. But the thing is, like, do we honestly know Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy? I mean, we speculate, but do we honestly know?
I think,
and it's so like, do they
I would
finish
love
the story?
to see. I would love to see that story finished, and
How?
I would love
How
to
would
see.
you execute it though?
But that's the thing. There has to be some kind of. There had to been something in the works already that we didn't know about while Bray was taking that time off, because I heard the heart attack was due to him having COVID
Earlier in the year that triggered the existing heart condition he already had. Maybe they bring back Eric Rowan, and then pair Bo Dallas up with them along with Braun Strowman, and they do something with that. Cause I was like, technically, they could kind of have him carry on Bray's torch
legacy,
and shit.
yes.
Kind of have him be the Fiend character and stuff. Like, he ain't got to show his face, but they can have him be that Fiend character and stuff. I mean,
But don't
there's a
push
way
it
they
too
could
far
do it.
due to we know the fact that Bray is gone and nobody could probably ever replace Bray, but there should be some kind of storyline there to where we can feel that the spirit of him still there in the wrestling world. And I think Bo Dallas would be the perfect. I mean, that's his brother.
So I'm gonna argue the opposite.
You don't want it?
No, I think there are times where it's better to leave something alone, and the legacy that he made no longer doesn't need to be touched anymore. It was a great legacy he's left behind, So I think WWE just needs to leave it alone. If you're going to continue Uncle Howdy, that's fine. Bo Dallas can do that if he is that guy. But as for the Fiend, like, the only way I can honestly see them bringing this back is if you're going to do the Wyatt family with Bo Dallas leading it. But then, honestly, I really don't want to see that. I don't want to see that either.
Well, I'm just saying, too, then if they could just utilize Bo Dallas since they have him, we still get a version of Bray Wyatt since they were brothers. He's not going to take over Bray Wyatt, but we can get a little glimpse of some of the moves were, just something to continue his legacy in the wrestling world, but not his character itself.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think it would be a good idea for them to bring back, the Wyatt family. I'm like, if they do, they gotta go undefeated for at least a year, at least. Then on top of that, I don't think it would make sense if they had Bo Dallas lead it, because in WWE terms, on screen, they never acknowledged that they was brothers.
Right.
So I'm like, at that point, it won't make sense, I think. But I think something that will make sense if they go ahead, like if they scrap the Uncle Howdy storyline and everything, bring back Bo Dallas as Bo Dallas, or you could just name him Bro Wyatt if you wanted to, just to kind of carry that on. Had him adapt to Sister Abigail. He only bring that shit out.
I'll say championship matches.
Not even that. Just like if he hit that shit, you know he's gonna win. Cause like that if you had him do it, the Sister Abigail should be a protective move that nobody kicked out of. Like how the end of days was a very protective move. Nobody kicked out the end of days for like it was like recently when somebody just first kicked out of it.
Drew
McIntyre.
Yeah, that's so that since he been on the main roster, nobody ever kicked out the end of days until Drew McIntyre did. So I'm like, and that was like what 2020 when he first kicked out.
Just like the curb stomp.
Yeah,
Very
it
rarely
was
did
very
anybody.
protected.
Yeah.
Like the punt for the moment, but Randy Orton was doing the punt kick. So I think it should be like that. If you bring him on, have him adapt to Sister Abigail, very much protect that
Just
move.
like the choke slam and the last right power bomb, those were protected finishers.
I wouldn't have nobody kick out of that till at least like a year and a half.
Gotcha. I want to move on to just a couple of highlights in the career of Wyndham Rotunda.
I was gonna ask that too.
So
favorite moment and shit.
Yeah, I won't even say favorite. I have too many favorite moments, but I want to touch on when he beat, or not beat. He beat 5 other people, but he pinned at this time.
I already know what you about to say.
At this time, peak AJ Styles, the I just beat John Cena twice. AJ Styles. He beat him in the Elimination Chamber and won his first world title.
You know what's crazy? I remember watching that shit live.
I do too.
Back then when the shit was on WWE Network, not Peacock. I remember watching that shit live. Like I was so excited for him. That next, because that was back in the SmackDown Live era. So we couldn't wait till that next day. That back then where it wasn't premium live events, it was pay-per-views. It came on Sunday. So that very next day we got Raw, and then that next day after Raw we got SmackDown Live. That shit was lit. That whole era.
Yeah, I was highly anticipating that too.
And then you know what that led into, right? Led into one of the most storylines that they dropped the ball on. Randy Orton joining the Wyatt family, leading it towards him going to turn, and it should have led to a fucking 3-way at WrestleMania between him, Luke Harper, and Randy Orton for the WWE title. And they should have put on Luke Harper. Even if it was going to be for a brief moment, if he was going to be transitional to the next person, they should have did it. They dropped the ball on that shit.
Because
that was a perfect time to push Luke Harper.
Because the storyline was basically Luke Harper saw through everything. Mm-hmm. He knew Orton was a snake. He's telling Wyatt, hey, Orton is a snake. You don't need to trust him, bro. Literally, his moniker is the Viper. Why would you trust this guy? And Bray just kept going along, not really paying attention, and then it led to him burning down the compound. He burned down the compound, and he
just commit arson on live TV for the millions.
Pretty much. I would say another moment, of course, SummerSlam. And before I say that, let me get there. Before I say that, I want to give a shout out to Michael Cole. Michael Cole was fantastic on Friday. He was in his bag.
Now we see why. I hope he got a pay raise because they working him. He on Raw and SmackDown. I'm surprised they didn't put him on NXT yet.
I was about to say you might as well throw him on NXT. Yeah. Might as well. But he said, and I quote, and it made me mad because, again, another missed opportunity. He said the one matchup we didn't get, the Fiend Bray Wyatt versus the Demon Finn Balor, and it wrote itself. 2 supernatural beings fighting to be the best supernatural being in the E.
But I would love to see. I want to know the reveal plans on Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt 6, because I would love for the Fiend to be part of that. Not the Fiend, but the Demon Finn Balor to be part of the Wyatt 6. That'd be perfect.
Absolutely, Miss Quinn. I'm sorry, we kind of went into a tangent. Your thoughts on him winning the world title and the fact that we never got the Fiend versus the Demon?
I mean, it just speaks for itself. Bray got a push, but he didn't get the push he deserved either. It's like you had this great superstar and we got the best, the versions of Bray Wyatt, but we didn't get the best out of Bray Wyatt in the E technically. Because if you think about it, Luke Harper got his push in AEW. So why does it take superstars to leave WWE to go to another company for them to actually get their push? So when you think about Bray Wyatt, that's what you think about is, we got all these different characters, but you didn't get the best out of that character because you didn't push certain storylines.
Makes sense. And Camelia, I want to apologize to you. You know, a couple years ago, you looked me in my eye and said, KB, not everybody's meant to go to AEW. Some people are just WWE lifers. And I was talking to B-Rags yesterday, and I said the same thing. You know, what is there a part of me that would have loved for him to step over into AEW and take over the Dark Order and pretty much carry on Brody's legacy? Yes, I would have loved that. It was made, it was written. But not everybody needs to go to AEW. Some people are WWE lifers, and that's fine. And I'm glad that he didn't.
Cause for real, most of the people who jump ship, who was complaining about booking, and
before you do that, this is not the time. It is not the time.
Telling you.
That is not. This is not that time.
But I do want to say this. I do want to say this. We got the actual Bray Wyatt, like who he really was, with the Firefly Funhouse. That version of Bray Wyatt on who he was off screen is what he was in the Firefly Funhouse. That was him. This is me. And he showed that to the whole WWE universe.
Alright, I'm gonna make it hard on you guys. I know there's a lot of them, but you probably can't pick one. But I'm gonna give y'all two. What's your favorite Bray Wyatt moment of his whole career?
Of his entire career?
Yes.
I would say the first one is of course when he pinned AJ Styles. And then I would say the second, and this is not much of a moment, it's more of the match. And I think it's a match that often gets overlooked in the careers of both of these superstars, Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. But the strap match they had at the Royal Rumble, phenomenal strap match, and it led to a fantastic ending. Because I'm pretty sure everybody was of the assumption that Daniel Bryan was winning. That's what it seemed, and that's how they booked it. To see him escape, because that's one of the times where there aren't too many times you can look over the Fiend's matches and be like, he escaped. He escaped Daniel Bryan that night. He didn't win. He escaped. And that's crazy because if you think about his booking, he was always booked very powerful. Finishers don't work. Weapons don't work. But he looked like a believable wrestler. Not to say he didn't, not to say he wasn't believable, but with that Fiend character and how they booked him against Daniel Bryan, it looked like he was just a regular wrestler that just so happened to have supernatural powers. So I would say those are my two.
I would say I can meet you on one because that's my favorite moment. His first WWE title run, which was better than Universal run, I would say. And then my second one is not really a match, it's really a moment, but it's not really his moment though. It's kind of like shitty that way. But you remember at SummerSlam, the match between him and Braun Strowman, and then we got the interference from what's now known to be the Tribal Chief.
Yes,
I would say that's one of my favorite moments.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah, there's just so many.
It's a lot.
But it is a lot. But one of my favorite moments is when he returned at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, that was a hype one.
Because that was something we weren't expecting, and then it just got dark, and then boom, there he is.
No, I agree. Going back, it's funny, Miss Quinn. I remember at the height of the Fiend, and very funny moment, I came to your house, Fiend masked up, gloved up, and for some odd reason upstairs the lights were dim, and I remember scaring the life out of your son with the Fiend mask and literally holding him up against the wall, and you come out the room because he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and you see the mask and you just go right on about your business. You went right on about your business.
It was funny because you have the look, dreads, you had the mask, the glove, and for them to be as scared as they were, that was hilarious.
I mean, when I say I had him pinned up against the wall, literally about to put my hand in his throat, and to see Miss Quinn come around and just like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. Let me turn around. It was just one of the funniest moments. So with that being said, I want to ask you two, before we get up out of here, best Bray Wyatt character.
That's hard.
That is hard because
You know what? It's not that hard. I'm gonna go with the OG.
Eater of Worlds.
Yup. So that's the whole reason why we even like Bray Wyatt. It was the first character we was introduced to. I kind of like that. Like, I like the cult following version of him first, because I was like, out of all of them, like the supernatural characters and all that, it's cool. But that cult following one, it was different. We ain't really. I mean, we have seen something like that in WWE, but it was more like believable. Out of everybody who kind of had like that occult character, you know, what's his name? Kevin Sullivan out there at WCW doing that. So it's like, out of all of them, the Ministry of Darkness, the cult stuff, is like, I believe this one more. Yeah,
because we know that he was the head of his own creative. It wasn't a storyline that they were pushing. It was actually, I'm doing this character, this is what it is, and we got the best version of the Eater of Worlds. And I have to say the Fiend after that.
I would say, to piggyback off what you said, there's a moment that we missed that is truly iconic when it comes to the cult leader Bray, is when he had the kids walk out with the goat mask, and I want to say that was Cena that was in the ring, and they're just all singing, he's got the whole world in his hands, and you can see, and people, and the thing is, people don't give John Cena enough credit for his acting. He looked visibly bothered that these kids were in sheep masks singing he's got the whole world in his hands. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Bray sitting up on the stage in his chair while these kids were singing that, surrounding the ring?
To be honest, I don't remember that. The only thing with kids and the singing part that I remember is the Hell in a Cell match, or the steel cage match, where John Cena's about to escape. And then the kid met him right there, was singing the song. Okay. And then he got hit with the Sister Abigail. Then Bray just walked out of the door and stuff. That's the only one I kind of like. It's kind of vague, like, you know, some things that happened you can't really remember, like 3-4 years ago. You like, but it's like, it's one of the ones I'm pretty sure we watched it. It will refresh my memory, but think off the top of my head, I can't think about it.
No, I do remember the kids surrounding the ring. I can't remember if it was the cage match, but you know, there are certain moments in the Eater of Worlds, you know, the cult leader Bray, that are iconic, and that was definitely one of them. So my favorite,
that damn chair.
Yes, that chair.
Rocking chair.
Yes,
iconic.
So I would say mine, as much as I love cult leader Bray, because that was what, like you, that got me highly intrigued into Bray Wyatt. But I'm still gonna have to go with the Fiend, because it was the entrance. You know, I've been watching, you know, the people across the pond remembering Bray, and they all hark back to that SummerSlam entrance, to where
the first time
the first time, and seeing the decapitated head of Bray as a lantern.
Well, but that Fiend belt was crazy.
They wanted, and I see why now, they wanted I can't remember if it was 600 or 6,000.
I believe,
but
6,000.
I see why they wanted 6,000 for that belt. If I had $6,000 to throw away, I would have bought it.
Hell yeah.
You know, now that we talk about Bray Wyatt characters, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna go with Husky Harris.
True, you can do that with the Nexus.
Nah, I'm just playing though.
Nah,
but I was gonna say, because that the Nexus, it was kind of not really iconic, but it was cool. Some people forget that Bray Wyatt was a part of the Nexus. Some people kind of forget that part of his career.
I mean, but if you think, but the crazy thing about that Husky Harris character is, it got the Steve Austin approval.
Yeah.
Steve Austin was putting him over to people in the back. This is your guy. This is the guy right here.
Cause like, what was that gimmick kind of? Cause to me, kind of feel like hillbilly-ish, a little kind of like that. Probably like a little bit of Justice and Festus, a little bit of mixture of that. That's kind of how I was getting the vibe from it. But I mean, overall, I'm glad that he did go back to FCW, revamp his character to what we know him to debut as, the Eater of Awards and stuff. But I would like to really, first off, send my condolences to his family. But I would really like to give AEW and Impact and all the other promotions their props. I like how they gave him his respect and everything. Rampage, right after SmackDown went off the air, I tuned in to Rampage. I was assuming, technically Rampage is shot right after Dynamite, so people's already see what's going on there. I'm glad that they did go back and edit. And they've been back and edit just to put the shout out.
Well, I can follow that up and say I'll give WWE their flowers when Brody passed. I get it, he was part of the company before, but we've seen what they do with people who leave.
Yeah. And
for them to still, and I want to say they gave him a video package too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they gave him a video package.
The most shocking one for me was Jay Briscoe. It was I think it was either a SmackDown or Raw. I think it was an NXT. It was one of those.
It was NXT because Booker T and Vic Joseph was like, we want to announce the passing of Jay.
Yeah, Jay Briscoe.
Jay. Yeah,
Jay. I was like, wow, because I thought that was. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what Briscoe was, but one of the older ones from back in the day. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do, and
I can't think about his name.
Gerald.
Yeah, I thought they was talking about him. I ain't gonna lie. But then as I was looking up, I'm like, oh damn. But then I'm like, I was expecting for AEW to do something for Bray anyway, because I'm like,
it may happen today.
Not really a thing like not like, even if they don't do a video package, that's fine. I'm like, them just tweeting out and then them putting his memorabilia in the beginning of the show is enough for me. That's fine. But I'm like, I was expecting for them to do something like that anyway, due to not really saying, oh well, we did it for you, so you do it for us. Not that case, but I'm like, well, since WWE did do for Jay Briscoe, and Jay Briscoe never worked for WWE, I'm like, I could see if AEW do it.
But I think too, it's out of respect for Brody as well too, because that's where we first got Luke Harper. Yeah. Was because of Bray. Question, is it going to be nighttime in London?
Yes.
I wonder if they're going to do the Fireflies.
Probably. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Tonight.
I don't, you know what? Bray Wyatt's untimely passing honestly might open the door for WWE to stop being more stubborn. Mm-hmm. It might, just to see like the love that he did get all across the promotions and everybody showing their respect and stuff. I would see like, this should be a wild awakening for WWE to be like, you know what, let me stop sleeping on talent, for one. Two, let me, because I'm pretty sure if they open their doors, there's a lot of money, not only for WWE, but for other companies and wrestlers to make.
I want to touch on real quick, Ms. Quinn, before I hand it back to you. I want to touch on Seth Rollins and what he posted on X. And he went back and he referenced, the Brody Lee's passing and talking to Bray about it, and saying he was contemplating on if he was going to go to the show that day. And Bray told him, "Don't worry about it, bro. Just hug them little babies, or just hug that baby. Hug your loved ones." And when we, it chokes me up a little bit, but the people of the Wyatt family, cult leaders, demonic forces, everything, they're humans. And at the end of the day, these two individuals were selfless. Mm-hmm. And that's the story. That was the story. When Brody passed, the only thing you heard, family man, loving, kind, give you the shirt off his back. Bray Wyatt passes, loving, kind, give you the shirt off his back, telling you to hug your loved ones. He understood the bigger goal, because he understood that life itself is bigger than wrestling. And and not to talk about WWE, because AEW is the same way. Life is bigger than wrestling. And it's sad to say, because they're in the professional wrestling business, but life is bigger than wrestling.
We got the characters on TV, but they were also who they were off TV, and you can kind of get a glimpse of who they were on on set too, by how they acted. So that was one thing about Bray, about Brody, about Jay. A lot of the wrestlers that have passed, unfortunately, Bray was just 36, and it sucks because you want to be technical. He was only 3 years younger than me.
He had 15 years left at the minimum. 15 years.
And to be honest with you, I hope they just go ahead and induct him and have him class of 2024 next year, and let Brian or Eric induct him, or have them both induct him, and let his wife go ahead and take his stuff.
I think it should be a double. Next year it should be the Wyatt family headline,
and then Bray,
and then like 3-4 years down the line, then you get induct Bray.
But see, I would say put him in the Hall of Fame, but let him be like a 4-time Hall of Famer, because you can really separate it by gimmicks, because each gimmick was different. It wasn't like, okay, this is a new gimmick, but you can still tell he's got remnants of its old gimmick. Every time Bray Wyatt, and that's another question: who's the greatest superstar at reinventing themselves? Because a lot of people would argue Chris, I would argue Bray.
I would say that's cool, but I would still say Chris, because Bray, yes, he did reinvent himself, but I'm like, honestly, I can't really say, because I haven't seen Bray work without, besides Husky Harris, but I haven't seen him work without like that cult supernatural, that feel.
But that's just him, and he's referenced that he's a fan of horror movies, and he's a fan of scary movies. So most of his stuff would be cultish and demonic and different stuff like that. So that makes sense.
When we talk about character reinvention, we gotta talk about versatility and stuff too.
I mean, I
think that kind of limits it just a little bit. That's why I would still lean more towards Chris Jericho.
But see, my thing is, when you look at what it is, even though it's in the same genre, it's significantly different. Each one, you have the cult leader, that's cool. Then he comes back as this demonic force, and the Fiend, Firefly Funhouse, and everything. And now, I wasn't a fan of the Uncle Howdy, but I understand why people liked it. And he comes back now as a little bit of the cult leader, but more so, I'm doing this for y'all.
I'm Bray Wyatt. This is Bray Wyatt, and this is who you're getting.
Even that promo that he cut, what was that? The following Monday on Raw, or was that SmackDown?
It was SmackDown. When he broke down, almost broke down, and he said, "I love you too."
Yeah, that return promo to me is one of the best Bray Wyatt promos he's ever cut. A lot of people can cut a promo, but can you connect with the audience?
Because when he said, "This is me, this is Bray Wyatt," and he just went into his emotion at that, because we didn't get a lot of emotion from Bray, but that promo that he cut after he returned,
it kind of made me feel like he probably knew like
something was wrong.
If you watch that promo, it gives another feeling now knowing what happened. So it's kind of like maybe he did kind of know what was going on. He didn't know that he was going to suffer a heart attack, but he knew he was dealing with something.
When he said, "I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it and come back. I thought my entire career was over. So and so, all that."
That hits different.
Yep. And then he left again, due to everybody thought that he was released again, that they released him, but he was really having health problems, and that's when boom, we get the news.
Because we thought, we thought it was because they was gonna book him and Bobby at WrestleMania, but that wasn't. We heard that there was a bunch of backstage stuff going on. They wasn't happy with it. Then he was off TV for a while. Well, he was off TV ever since then. But that's crazy now knowing most likely. Not most likely. He was probably off TV because they couldn't agree. on creative for that feud, but then that led into him staying off of TV due to his health, declining.
No, I feel that. We're getting ready to get up out of here, guys. Just remember, well, before I do that, Miss Quinn, closing remarks.
Hold tight, hold tight to your loved ones, I think with losing Bray, death has no age, no names. Just be grateful in the moment and always hold your loved ones tight. Just choose love.
Camellia.
Hold your loved ones tight. Give flowers to, everyone while they're here. Don't wait until someone passed to celebrate them. Don't wait till someone passed to, come together. Because I don't know if it's just y'all, but I have noticed, when death comes, that's when everybody wanted to start making changes and be like, oh, I wish I could have did this, or we need to start getting closer and all that. Don't wait until somebody's not here to do it. Make memories now.
I feel that.
Long live Bray Wyatt.
I'll say this. I don't know people's religion. I don't know if you got a God. I don't know if you believe in a God or if you don't. But I'll say this. No man knows the minutes, the hours, minutes, seconds in their hourglass. Love your loved ones. Cherish your loved ones. Hold your loved ones. Hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Because at any time, as we've seen, they can be taken. And that's the messed up part about life. So cherish your loved ones. That's it, guys. It's been a sad one, but we got through it. I'm KB the Mark with Miss Quinn, Camille Salamander. Normally we would do our simply we're some FM marks who love sports entertainment, but that doesn't seem right this time. So remember these things. He's got the whole world in his hands. Let me in and run.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.